Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
It's a manic Monday here, folks. Actually, not that manic in our particular newsroom, but manic for many other people around the city. Josh Ryan, Abby St. John, sporting a new look, by the way, in to bring you the local news, weather, sports, and more as we get set for Colonial Days. Just a few days away. It feels like we've been building to this for months, but it's gone by really fast.
Oh yeah, definitely. We were talking about, a few months ago, we're going to start planning this, and we're going to have maybe a couple meetings, and then now, well, it starts Wednesday, and it's all here, and everything that we've talked about has kind of come full circle.
Yeah. And we are getting ready for that parade coverage, of course, which we'll have for you Wednesday morning. Plenty of other items to check in on during the week as well. First, though, let's head out to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Thanks, guys. Well, today we are here at the Lloydminster Public Library, and we'll be talking about their summer reading programs that will be going on throughout the next couple of months. They do happen Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and we'll be giving you a little preview about what it's about, all the crafts kids can get into, and also their summer reading club, which just encourages kids to read here throughout the summer while they're on a break from school. So we're going to have more from back here throughout the show, but first we'll go back into the studio where Abby will have a look at your local news.
Thanks, Eric. Well, Colonial Days is right around the corner, and there are a few changes this year. The event is riding in with new attractions and new ways to enjoy the festival while watching your wallet.
Family Day is going to be exciting. That's brand new this year that we're going to try out. So people can come in and get free admission and experience the fair if they're on a limited budget or if they just want to experience the fair for free. So Family Day is going to run Thursday. It is going to be from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. free admission. After 2 p.m. regular gate admission applies, but you can purchase till 3 o'clock a Ride All Day armband for a reduced cost of $34. That is good to ride for the entire day.
Previously, the festival offered Sneak a Peek Day, where you could enter the event for $2. This year, they're giving fairgoers a different option.
Just found that we needed a bit of a change, and we're looking forward to having those extra couple hours on Tuesday to make sure that this fair is prepared as best as we can, and then to offer the Family Day on Thursday. People are very excited. They're appreciative, they're excited, they get to walk through the gates, they get reduced Ride All Day armbands. The chatter is very, very positive.
Colonial Days kicks off beginning with the parade Wednesday morning. Local MP Rosemarie Falk was the guest speaker at today's Rotary meeting, getting the chance to speak about current political issues. Falk was invited to the meeting where they wanted to hear from the area's MP. She took the opportunity to talk with Rotary members about letting more people know she's accessible to the residents of her constituency.
Knowing that their local MP for Battleford's Lloydminster is actively fighting for them in Ottawa on the issues that matter here, like our energy sector, our agricultural sector, families, communities, that type of thing, but also the importance of getting involved and making sure to get out to vote.
She also chatted about what she is currently trying to achieve in Parliament.
I am fighting for the things that matter for them, like scrapping the carbon tax, making sure that we can get our canola and our pork exports to China. The things that are impacting the local economy and the local constituents, that we are taking the voice to Ottawa and fighting for them.
Falk also mentioned that she believes the current majority federal government is failing rural Canadians. With the renovations at the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Centre, they are hoping to get the course back up to par. They are fixing the main line of the irrigation system, which hasn't been updated or fixed since the 80s. The construction is the first phase of replacing the whole irrigation system over the next few years.
We're replacing all the old stuff. It's breaking, it's frost heaving is making the glue joints come apart. It's in really bad shape. It'll be much better for water saving in the golf course, saving us lots of money. And it'll pay for itself over time for sure.
The construction will have a bit of an effect on golfers, but nothing drastic.
For instance, it's going to be done in phases. The main line's being put in first. You'll have all 18 greens open for play. Nothing will be closed in the greens, but there might be a few tee boxes here and there that might be closed because the construction site is forward of the tees.
The renovations will be taking place all day and will hopefully be completed by September. The last World War took place over 70 years ago, and it is still important to remember the brave men and women who helped in the war efforts. As our Tegan Gieselbrecht reports, the new World War Women exhibit at the Lloydminster Cultural Science Centre is focused on bringing the women's involvement in both World Wars to the spotlight.
Women were a major part of the war, even though they're not necessarily the part we remember.
The World War Women exhibit is a traveling exhibition from the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa that looks at all the ways women aided the Allies in both World Wars.
It's important to realize that women also played a large role, both in keeping the home front alive and going and making food and getting things made in factories, so typically men's jobs, and as well women also participated in the fight overseas themselves.
The exhibit inspires women on looking back at what they experienced and overcame.
I find it both inspiring and humbling and also very empowering that, women can do anything. They were faced with the wars, they were faced with their sons, their husbands going off to war, not knowing if they would ever see them again. They found new ways to run their homes and raise their families.
History of the women's involvement is brought to life through the use of artifacts and images at the exhibit. The items jog memories of the past.
I've personally wandered through and had maybe some older citizens tell me about things they remember personally, about like war stamps and war bonds and collecting it themselves, and they didn't remember until they saw it here in the exhibit. So it does have a lot of personal reminders.
The exhibit encourages family members to bring up their past experiences.
Some people might not know that maybe their grandmas or great-grandmas were a part of the war in some way. So I think that's a chance for people to look at their own history and their own legacy of their grandparents and ask them questions if they're of their memories of the wars and of their parents and their grandparents' memories.
The World War Women exhibit is open until September 30th. Tegan Gieselbrecht, Primetime Local News.
From rides to food to concerts, the Colonial Days Fair has been a staple of Lloydminster's summer for years. In this week's retrospect, we take a look at how the fair has changed throughout the years.
Colonial Days offers plenty of thrills and razzle-dazzle with no shortage of things to do. But odds are the first edition was slightly more subdued.
In 1902 or so, they held just a basic sports day when people were starting to move into the area. From what I remember, the first official fair was held in around 1903. So we've been around for 105 years, so we're pretty proud of that.
One component that has weathered the ages are the agricultural exhibits.
When the settlers came in, they needed to grow their own food. They needed to raise their own animals. That was their food source. So agriculture has been and still maintains as a strong backbone to the fair.
Flash forward to today, and Colonial Days have remained an important part of the border city. It's important to the organizers that there is something new and different every year.
We have 5 new rides coming this year, which is going to be a big change for a lot of people as we've had the same rides come for a few years now. So West Coast Amusements is excited to debut a couple new rides as well as a brand new Ferris wheel. So we're just always looking to make people want to come back to the fair. It's not the same old, same old.
In the last 5-10 years, the organizers have been looking at ways to blend farm life with city life.
Well, we definitely have reached out to our urban market. We try to incorporate the rural and urban and bring them together. So with our ag show programming, as well as all of our yard thrill shows and our monster trucks and that sort of thing, we try to kind of meld them and give people from the farm a chance to be excited about the city life and city people to be excited about the farm life.
Some things that don't change yearly is the egg shows. Besides the animals, the shows stay the same.
People really like coming to see the heavy horses, especially the gymkhanas. The team roping and team sorting is always really popular. And then our grandstand show, it doesn't really matter what act. We always have a good crowd, and we're really appreciative of Lloydminster for supporting those big acts that we bring in. So we're just really excited to have all those same things back with a different variety attached to them.
Colonial Days have lots to offer for anyone. Tomer says that they have been receiving some pretty good feedback about this year's fair.
I think every day has something to look forward to. We are really hearing a lot of good things about Saturday, about our Canadian Tire Family Day is going to be exciting. That's brand new this year that we're going to try out. So people can come in and get free admission and experience the fair if they're on a limited budget or if they just want to experience the fair for free.
The fair runs July 10th to the 13th with Family Day on the 11th. And that's it for this week's Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Webb's Machinery, your New Holland dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, and Lamont.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here at the Lloyd Public Library, and Amanda Stremick joins me now, and we are talking about the summer reading programs you guys are putting on here. So can you talk about that?
For sure. Our summer reading program, it started July 2nd. It's going until the 22nd of August. Its theme is the natural world, so we're talking about nature, plants, recycling, oceans, anything you can think of that's in our world, we're gonna explore.
And now it's pretty hands-on, some crafts for the kids to do, so can you talk a little bit more about what exactly they'll be doing here each and every week?
Of course. Well, we have 3 different programs. The first program is on Tuesday afternoons, starting at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's more of a hands-on, so we say you're a mature 8-year-old to your teen, around in there, come on in. It's a little more detail-oriented, could last us a little bit, like we'll make dream catchers or sensory bottles, stuff like that. Wednesdays is a program that will be all ages, usually something, we're going to go for a nature walk or something like that. And then Thursdays is going to be our kids, our preschool summer story time. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you for telling us more about this. We're going to have some more from back here just on those summer reading programs that is going on here throughout the next couple months that you can come out and check out. But first, we will go back into the studio.
I've got to admit, it's been a while since I made a stop at the library. I'll have to change that in the near future. 17 degrees right now in the border city with a little bit of sun poking out earlier today, though it's been largely cloudy and there's still an outside chance of rain. Wind chill has been fairly minimal as it's only been around 7 or 8 kilometers of wind through most of the day, at times even less than that. Your records from 2012, we had a plus 28 for the high and plus 6 back in 2015. So not that long ago, we had another kind of colder start to the month of July. So this isn't the first time this has happened, even if it's, not wanted in any respect at the moment from us here in the border city. Now, satellite and radar, you can see here some cloud cover largely on the Sask side, but we do have a low pressure system making its way across from the northwest in Alberta, and that could certainly hit the Lakeland region over the next couple of hours if it hasn't already hit areas like Lac La Biche. Shouldn't hit Vermilion, Lloydminster, Wainwright to the same degree, but we are expecting cloud cover and maybe some thunder showers scattered over the next couple of days. Quickly at watchers and warnings, largely clear in this region, but there is a thunderstorm warning on the far side of your screen there, so that could make its way down and we'll have a thunderstorm warning in our region when that low pressure system makes its way here. On the Sask side of things, definitely a severe thunderstorm watch in effect, specifically around areas like Maidstone and North Battleford. And again, keep an eye on that over the next couple of hours to see if that develops. The closer you get to Saskatoon, the chances increase that it is in fact going to be a thunderstorm. Now 20 degrees will be the high for tomorrow with a low of 9 and a 40% chance of precipitation at the moment. 24 and 10 on Wednesday with a 66% chance of precipitation, and that's not great news for those who want to enjoy the parade and of course Colonial Days. We'll see if that changes over the next 24 hours. 20 on Thursday with a low of 14, and once again cloud cover, strong chance of rain as the wind shifts from the south-southeast to the west-northwest. More weather and more news coming up on Primetime Local News.
Welcome back. Well, federal Conservative leader Andrew Scheer is urging Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to step up inspections on all products from China and to consider slapping tariffs on Chinese imports. In a diplomatic dispute that has dragged on for more than 7 months, China has increased inspections that have led to the suspension or obstruction of key Canadian agricultural imports, including pork and canola. In a letter Friday, Scheer pressed Trudeau to take a harder line with China, which is Canada's second biggest trading partner. Scheer wants Trudeau to respond by intensifying Canadian inspections on all imports from China and to start exploring possible retaliatory levies on Chinese products that will have the greatest possible impact while minimizing harm to consumers in Canada. And the Manitoba government is helping livestock producers who are hard-pressed by the lack of rain. The province says due to dry conditions, producers will temporarily be allowed to cut hay and to graze animals on Crown land not normally designated for agricultural use. Manitoba Agriculture says the Crown Lands Leasing Program will administer the use of available land and provide permits. Livestock must be removed when the natural forage is exhausted or by the end of October. And that's all for eggs. Sports is next, but first, here's a look at your egg prices.
We're a part of less than 5% of Canadian auto body shops and Lloydminster's only locations with certified collision care recognition at City Centre Auto Body.
Some of the top Alberta U15 boys and girls soccer teams converged in Vermilion this past weekend for the Tier 4 Rural Provincials. Our Josh Park had the chance to go check out the action and what hosting the event meant for the town of Vermilion.
2, 1, Strikers!
The town of Vermilion played host to nearly 240 U15 boys and girls soccer players over the weekend for Tier 4 Rural Provincials. From big saves to even bigger plays, it was a weekend the teams worked all season long for.
They play in the league program. They play through the month of May and June, which is what the sort of these age groups and that level of competition do, so they can have the summer off. So this is the, this is the ultimate thing for them. It's like their World Cup. So
it's big for the club. It's big for the town. It's big for the girls. A lot of these girls have never played in provincials before, and it is a big deal and should be treated as such.
So be proud of yourself and be proud of what you achieved. You did excellent. You played your hearts out, every single one of you, okay?
Although this isn't the first time Vermilion has hosted provincials, it still serves as a big deal for the town of just over 4,000.
It's an opportunity for them, for the town, to show what they're all about as well, right? Gives lots of people an opportunity to come in and see the town, see what it's like at this part of the province and enjoy a weekend of soccer.
Helping put on an event of this size took a lot of buy-in from the community.
It takes a lot of volunteer hours, all volunteer hours, and a lot of commitment, not just from the players and from the coaches, but from all the volunteers who help the ground staff, the people in the tent, the people slinging hot dogs and burgers. It takes a community to do it, absolutely.
The whole community comes out. When you do competitions in the city, people will travel and go to watch the games. But when you get to the small communities, very often they'll go that extra step and put on other events around town and do things to coincide with the provincial championship. So it really makes it a really special occasion for them.
A big weekend for the teams, the families, and the city of Vermilion. Josh Park, Primetime Local Sports.
The Lloydminster Extreme season has officially come to an end after falling 2-1 in the opening round of the playoffs to the Sherwood Park Titans. The Extreme were able to push the series to 3 games after losing Game 1, but ultimately lost in Game 3, 12-8 to the Titans on Sunday. Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here at the Lloyd Public Library talking about their summer reading programs, and I'm joined now by Amanda Stremick once again, and we talked a little bit about what you guys do have going on here throughout the next couple months, but can you go in a little bit in depth about the themes of each week? I know we talked, you're going to have the space theme here next week and also recycling this week.
Yes. So every week will be a different theme, of course, with our natural world. You'd said this week we're doing recycling, so everything that we're creating is from recycled household products. So jars, egg cartons, stuff like that. Next week, because of the moon landing coming up, we're doing a space program. So everything is going to be space themed. We're going to have jars full of nebulas and stuff like that. That's basically what we're doing, yeah.
Sounds pretty cool. And now if people do want to check out, because you do have that different theme each and every week, how can people find out the different themes if they want to come by for a certain week for a certain different theme?
Well, our website is a great place to check out. We have each theme each week. All the plans that we have are on there. We also do posts on Facebook and Twitter. So if you're on social media, that's a great place to follow us at, and you'll hear all of the crafts we will be making. So if you don't like paint, you can avoid it.
No, good to know, good to know. And now if people do want to come out and participate in these, I know you have the 3 different days during the week, so how can people come out? Do they have to sign up and just have a good time making some different crafts?
No sign up is required. It's free. There's no registration, nothing like that. We just encourage anyone, if you just want to drop in, we're designed the program so they're drop-in friendly. You come in, you do your craft or activity, and you can leave if you've got something else planned. You don't have to stay for the whole hour. So that's kind of what we're trying to work with here.
All right, thank you once again for joining us. We are going to have some more from back here at the Lloydminster Public Library talking about what they do have going on here throughout the entire summer with their natural world theme that you can come out and check out. But first, we will go back into the studio.
Quick look again at your watches and warnings board. Severe thunderstorm warning out west, and that could come into effect in our region when that low pressure system makes its way towards the Lakeland and Midwest regions over the next couple of hours, certainly over the next 24 hours. On the east side of things, in Saskatchewan, definitely a storm warning in effect there, and a severe thunderstorm warning as well. Specifically, the further out east you get, closer you get to Saskatoon, North Battleford, Macklin, Maidstone, a couple of the areas affected by the warning. So keep that in mind if you are traveling. Temperatures over the next 24 hours dropping, not that quickly over the course of this evening, but we'll get close to single digits through several regions. Briefly in single digits in Lloydminster around 5 or 6 a.m., but right back up into the high teens by noon, 1 o'clock, and we'll hit the low 20s again at the kind of peak of the evening before you get into supper time. Now, current temperatures, Edson is sitting at 19 right now. It's 22 out in Jasper, 20 in Edmonton, and 18 out in Red Deer. When you get out onto the Sask side, fairly consistent as well, around the high teens and low 20s, with 20 in Melfort, 22 out in Saskatoon, Prince Albert, North Battleford, also sitting at 19 degrees, 18 up in Meadow Lake. And now current temperatures here, 19 again in North Battleford with a low of 11 expected overnight. They could get a little bit of precipitation over the course of the evening with plenty of cloud cover in effect there. And then 23 is the expected high for tomorrow, where they should have a fair amount of cloud cover, but also some sunlight as well, along with fairly calm winds coming out of the north. In Cold Lake, 20 degrees with a low of 9. It's been relatively sunny today in Cold Lake, though that could change over the next couple of hours. Northwest winds should eventually give to straight north winds by tomorrow, and they'll only pick up by a few kilometers per hour. A high of 18 expected. Relatively sunny again with a couple of clouds tomorrow. We'll see how much of that low pressure system makes its way through the Cold Lake region over the next, again, 7 or 8 hours or so. Now, Lloydminster, again, sitting at 17 at the moment, expecting a low of 9. It's actually supposed to be a fairly clear evening sky, but we are expecting some rain tomorrow, along with some sunlight. So 20 degrees the expected high there, with wind coming out of the north-northwest. And our 7-day forecast, again, a 40% chance of precipitation currently on Tuesday, but then 24 and 10 with a 66% chance on Wednesday. That's not an ominous number at all. 20 and 14 on Thursday with a 65% chance there, and plenty of cloud cover, so not looking great for Thursday. 24 and 12 on Friday, where it should be much more sunny, and then 25 and 13 to finish off Colonial Days on Saturday. A high of the week, 26 and 13 on Sunday with a mix of sun and cloud, and finally 21 and 13 on Monday. Again, a relatively sunny sky as the wind will eventually shift out of the northwest and into the southeast. That has been your 7-day forecast.
Now we're going to Eric Bay, who is on location today.
Once again, we are back here at the Lloydminster Public Library talking about their summer reading program, and Amanda Stremick joins me here once again. And now part of that summer reading program is also the Summer Reading Club, so can you tell us a little more about that?
Basically, it's a club. We encourage you to sign up, but it's not necessary for any of our programs. It encourages kids to read over the summer. So they get a little booklet, they can fill out what they've read, what they like about the book, bring the book in, get a sticker, and when the book is all filled up, they get a prize. And it's just a way to encourage kids. And they don't have to come to this library. Say they're on vacation, take their book with them. They can go to a library wherever they're visiting at the lake, and they can get stickers there as well.
And now you're talking about reading books, but also doesn't have to be books necessarily for kids to qualify for this. So what do people have to read if they do want to be a part of this?
Well, you're right. You can read instructions, a recipe, rules for a board game. Even like the younger kids, they may not know how to read, but maybe their brother or their mom is reading to them. That counts too.
No, that's awesome for sure. And now you did mention again signing up. So how can people sign up for this if they do want to participate all summer?
They just come talk to us at the information desk. All we do is we get their name, their age, where they heard about our program, and then they get a book to take home.
No, awesome for sure. And now you did mention too that the reading club is all across Canada, but also the full-on summer reading program as well is available all across Canada. So how can people check it out if they maybe aren't in Lloydminster during the summer?
They can go to any library that's close by. As well, the TD Summer Reading Program does have its own website with activities that the kids can interact with as well.
All right, thank you for doing this. Once again, talking about the summer reading program that is going on here and across Canada that you can check out right here again, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays if you do want to come by the Lloydminster Public Library. That's all we have from now. Now we'll go back into the studio.
We are less than 48 hours away from Colonial Days officially kicking off, and thus our question of the day is rightly directed into that subject. So what are you most looking forward to experiencing at Colonial Days? Some good feedback. The common answers were the Demolition Derby. The second common answer, of course, was mini donuts. And I think that's probably a usually common answer anytime you have any kind of festival or fair. You, as a first-timer for this particular festival, what are you most looking forward to?
Probably the food. You know, you associate carnivals, you know, what comes to your mind? Oh, food. What else? Oh, rides. And I'm not much of a rides person, so I'm really looking forward to the different foods.
Okay. Are you, you have to choose then, mini donuts, popcorn, ice cream? Out of those three, those are kind of the holy trinity of festival foods. What do you go for?
Probably mini donuts, just because you don't really get mini donuts anywhere else except at like a fair or carnival or anything like that. That's like the staple of all fairs or carnivals is mini donuts. You can have popcorn anytime at home, but when do you normally get mini donuts? At a fair.
And of course, popcorn is kind of taken over theaters as like the main theater snack. So
exactly.
That's a fair point. Yep. It's also a fair point is that this Pet Pad conversation continues to get the most comments out of anything we do. So let's go right to it. Our Pet Pad Pet of the Day contest.
Oh my gosh, what an elegant photo, I must say.
I gotta say, this seems very highbrow for a Pet of the Day contest.
Yes.
You just go through some shows, Gary and Darren.
I'm impressed.
Oreo's a name that's popped up a lot recently. Now it's a cat. I feel like they didn't put a lot of the inner part of the Oreo there. It's just mainly the crust.
But very like mesmerizing eyes.
Indeed. And speaking of mesmerizing, Tartar Tot gets really comfy in those pockets.
I love the name. Very original. I've never heard a name like that before, but very cute.
We also don't normally get two-part names. Phoenix and Buddy Shaley. Again, not a pretty original name, I'd say. Thank you, Diane.
But very cute.
And finally, Buddy the dog. Thanks, Jeffrey, for that. Buddy the dog.
Looks so happy.
Look, kind of reminds me of the dude from The Big Lebowski with his grin there.
Yeah.
And don't forget, folks, anytime you submit the pet and the pet name, you can win a free gift card from Pet Pad.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
I'm joined now by President of the Vermilion Soccer Association, Kristen Ward. You were just wrapping up essentially 3 long days full of footy action that ended on a good note, obviously, for the 15U boys here in town.
It did. It has been quite a busy 3 days that we've put in here on the pitches, welcoming our Tier 4 families from across the province. We were quite happy that they could all come and join us and help us to continue to grow the grassroots of soccer.
Is this the first now? How many times have you been able to host larger competitions like this in this park?
Vermilion Soccer has hosted lots of provincials in the past, actually. Probably about 4 years ago, we held 2 back-to-back. That was a lot of work, a big undertaking. And usually every season, we host the Lakeland Cup, which is for the Lakeland District. But we've had some other communities come forward, so we've been able to share the wealth and everybody get a chance to host.
And now, what is it meant to be able to host this many teams at once? As you said, you've had other associations join in, and you're even having a conversation after the tournament with some reps from Alberta Soccer just about hosting in the future. How much does it mean for the Soccer Association that events like this go as well as they do and bring in as many teams as they do?
I think it has reaching ramifications, to be honest, for the players themselves, as well as for the communities, the families, the refs, even the volunteers. I think with hosting such an event like this, it is a great undertaking, as I had mentioned previously, but it's also a pride piece too, that Vermilion gets to showcase what we have to offer.
And you certainly were able to showcase that with your 15U boys team taking home gold. What does that mean for you to have the home team take home a championship?
It was great because the boys have grown quite a bit. I don't want to forget about our U15 girls. They also played here the weekend. I'm not sure where they finished this morning because I was getting ready helping the boys get ready for their gold medal, but they played in the 5th and 6th game today and they were wonderful.
And now, do you have any hopes for further expanding this in some way? I mean, there's only so much you can do with the field space you have, obviously. Are there other things that you want to add to provincials down the road? Do you want to get to a point where you are able to host even more competitions or maybe become a hub?
You know what? I like to dream big. I don't like to say never, but I think we'd like to take a rest after this hosting of provincials, and we'll see what happens. But you know what? Sky's the limit, and whatever we can do to keep these kids playing soccer and loving the sport, we will do what we can.
And now this times out at the same time with the Women's World Cup. Obviously, Canada didn't have a great showing, or certainly the showing they wanted, but you've seen, obviously, the growth of the sport in Vermilion. Does it reflect kind of what people have been talking about in North America over the past, decade or so, even decades or so, about how fast the sport has grown rurally across North America?
I think so. I think actually we've noticed a big difference in Vermilion over the past couple of years in actually the increase enrollment of females playing soccer. And over the last probably 2 years, we've also had the opportunity to have more coaches be females. So we've had females mentoring females, which has been wonderful.
And we can expect to see more of that down the road at future championships in Vermilion. Out here at the Vermilion Provincial Park, where I'm joined by the head coach of the provincial champions for the 15U Tier 4 Championship, David Wilson. Head coach of the Vermilion Strikers, congratulations on this nice shiny trophy you have there.
Thank you.
Now, you guys obviously were excited to host this year. Anytime you get to play in front of your home fans makes a big difference. But how exciting is it now to not only be able to play in front of family and friends, not have to travel to compete, and also bring home some hardware?
Well, I mean, I always had faith in the boys, and it's always best to win at home, right? It's always best to win in front of your fans, and, well, we did it.
You certainly did. Now, what has this season been like for you guys in terms of the ups and downs, experience of seeing the guys grow?
Well, we definitely had our ups and downs. If I'll be honest with you, I didn't think we would finish with this, but the boys came together, especially in these last few weeks, and they just really started playing like a team. And then when we started this tournament, I knew they had a chance, but as you can see, we finished.
Now, what was it that got them to start playing together and sort of bond as a team? Was it just sort of a final buy-in of what was going on in practice? Was it a little maturity as the season goes on, or just a sort of finally getting comfortable with each other?
They just started getting comfortable with each other, just started to figure out when they would take a bad touch, when they would take a good touch, where they needed to be on the field, just all your soccer things.
And now you guys have gotten to enjoy this right around an interesting time with the Women's World Cup going on. You have CONCACAF qualifying and others. Is it exciting to be a part of sort of a younger generation of, you obviously are an ex-player yourself, a younger generation of guys coming up and learning to love the game?
Yeah, it's definitely an experience, that's for sure. I sure hope that I see them playing throughout their seasons and their careers. I mean, I would really hope that they go pro, but it's U15. We'll see.
And now sticking to today's contest in particular, what was the key to winning today in the final against Jasper?
Just keep pressure on the ball. Just keep the pressure, keep the ball in their end, and capitalize on the opportunities we had. We had a penalty shot, we put it in the net, and that's all you need to do.
You said before, it's fun to play in front of your fans. Did these fields have any particular advantage as well, or are you guys just used to playing there?
I don't think they had any, that much advantage, but I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a home field advantage when you know where the gopher holes are and where they aren't, and when you got good grass, you got good grass.
And so now that you guys are wrapping up your season, you got a couple of months before school starts back up again. Hey, know what your future is if you're going to come back and coach this group again? Do you know how many of the guys are coming back, all that stuff yet, or is that too early to get into?
It's a little too early to get into, but I mean, I would definitely be happy to coach these boys again, anytime.
And is there any other aspirations you have about coaching soccer in the future, just speaking for yourself personally?
No, not really. I just like Tier 4. It's just nice to come out here, coach the boys, and have some fun.
Well, fair enough. They definitely had fun this afternoon, winning a gold medal at the 15U Provincial Championship out here at the Vermilion Provincial Park.